Okay, here we go. We're going to continue building on the smokehouse today. Actually, it takes several days to do what I'm getting ready to show you on video. The weather's not been very cooperative in Indiana. It's kind of delayed me from time to time. There's nothing worse because you have to drag all the tools out every time you have to continue where you left off. But this has to get done. It's on the schedule. So today's officially roof day, or I guess the majority of the roof being done today, at least the rafters. There's a lot more to it after I get the rafters up. It's hard, pretty hard on the body when you have to do the rafters up and down the ladders and stuff like that. So I'm feeling it about every day afterwards. So, but it is what it is. Now, what you see me doing here is basically the middle portion of the, I guess, the rectangle kind of pushed out a little bit. I think it's about maybe an inch. So what I'm doing, I'm taking a couple of ratchet straps and pulling it together slightly. The only reason why I knew it pulled out a little bit is because one rafter is like all the other rafters, and you'll see me during this video cutting these rafters. They're all cut identical, so nothing's different. So when there's a gap between the bottom 2x8 and the top 2x8, I know something's wrong. The rectangle's not a square, it's really within like 1/8 of an inch. But the middle of it kind of sucked out over the winter. So what I'm doing is I'm fixing that now, and I'll actually fix it later on with a collar rafter in the middle too to kind of keep it all together. But for now, I sucked it up together. I want the rafters kind of come together and get all that nailed in there real nice and tight, and it should hold it just fine. You know, one of the hardest things about this particular part of the project is getting all the wood back there. There's like 30 rafters, I think. They're not heavy, but I had to have them dropped off in the front. The yard was too soft to move the wood back there on a forklift from Menards, so I had them drop it off in the driveway, which seemed to be the farthest part from this, or the farthest point from this particular location. So I had to make 15 trips up to get them all back here. Kind of sucked a little bit. I remember what I'm doing here is basically that ridge line, I guess the board that runs all by itself there from front to back. That's a 2x8. It's called a header too, but ridge line is probably the proper name. It's a 2x8, and then my rafters are all 2x6s. So you always want boards to go into larger dominations of wood, so it leaves a little bit of a reveal. Now I have to be really careful here putting these rafters up for the fact that I have to, well, actually it's visible from down below. This will be an open roof from underneath. So you'll see the bottom side of the steel roof from underneath the area of the smokehouse. So I gotta make sure it looks nice. Gotta make sure I don't have nails sticking out or poor looking craftsmanship, because it's kind of the look I'm looking for underneath there. Now remember, I'm putting electric in this. I've already got it ran out there. I've actually got a plug out there right now. I'm running the compressor on. I ran 2 circuits from a fuse box in my basement. Direct burial conduit, or not conduit. Yeah, I did run conduit, but a direct burial inside of a small, I think 2-inch conduit in the ground. Had to run underneath the paver sidewalk. I'm glad I got it out there for the fact that I want to put a ceiling fan, a TV, maybe some speakers out here, at least during the warmer months. Yeah, this up and down of the ladder, it's just hard on a body, I can tell you that. It would have been nice to have a second guy for this particular thing, for the fact that every once in a while I dropped a tool or I forgot something. It'd be nice if someone was on the ground actually handling me stuff up as I needed it. But, you know, that's all part of it. I don't want to inconvenience anybody. People want to help, and I'm more than happy to let them help and teach them what I know. But I gotta get this done, and it's hard to work around multiple schedules and stuff like that. So everything's coming up rather quickly this summer, so I need to make sure I get this done on time. Now the project, I want to have it all roofed by Memorial Day. I've still got a lot of roofing to do after I get the rafters up. I'm putting a decorative, I don't know what you want, part in the gable. It's actually 6x6s up there. It's going to match the front of my house. And then I have to put a big collar rafter up in the middle. So I got all the rafters up. Now I'm putting the perpendicular 2x4 by, they're like 14, 15 and a half, maybe 16 foot, all one piece. So these are going to run, there will be 4 of them on each side. They're running perpendicular to the rafters for the fact that it's going to catch the roof. The roof, you have to have the boards running from front to back to catch the roof seams. So that's why I'm putting these up here. Should look really good. This is also going to give me the overhang I'm looking for. You can see the ridge line at the very top. I'm revealing about 8 inches at the top. So what I'm doing is also revealing 8 inches extra 2x4 on each end. Now I'm measuring that from the front, making sure I'm 8 up front. You always want your front of your building to look the best, so you always work from the front if you can. If you're trying to fit something, I always work from the back, for the fact that you never know it's going to fit perfect and you don't want to waste lumber. So you can see here, you're starting to see the overhang. I'll do the overhang in the next video along with the gable detail, but it gives it a real nice clean look, and it will help keep the rain from coming in the building from the area of the roof. Here I am lifting up the other additional 2x4s up there. You can see I got these posts sticking out still. I'll get those here in a minute. It's one of the last things you do. Those posts are 3 foot in the ground. I've got 2.5 bags of concrete in each one, and they run straight up all the way through the rafters. And then I'll saw them off even with the rafters. I'll make sure I screw the rafters into it. It should give it a pretty firm roofing system. This thing's built like a tank. I did it on purpose. My brother and I and my dad, we always overbuilt things. Sure, there's cheaper ways of doing things, and I could have went a lot wimpier on the lumber if I wanted to, but I didn't want to chintz on the look, and I want this thing to last forever. So I think the way I'm building it, it's going to be here forever. Well, the hard part is almost over here. I'm just wrapping up the other side, putting the top 2x4 on, and then what I'm going to have to do is go through and start finding all these places where I misnailed or I didn't nail enough to make sure this thing's not going to fall over. See, I'm using a Bosch 12 gauge framing gun. I think it works great. It's one of the last pneumatic tools that I actually use. It takes a lot to drive those big nails. I know DeWalt sells one. Not quite ready to make that investment. I don't frame that often. So for now, the Bosch works, the compressor works, and just got to tote around a big old cord everywhere. Like I said earlier in the video, here I am knocking off those 6x6s. It's a sucky job. This also does a decent job. It just sucks. Usually if you got a guy helping you out, this is the job you give the guy. They seem to like to do it, and it's actually something I hate to do, so why not? You can see I got that overhang developed on the front of the building now. Moving into the interior, I've got 2x8s that will actually encase the 6x6s from the inside. You can see my hurricane straps I have on the rafters. That's overkill. Probably don't need it, but you know what? I felt like I wanted it, so I put them up there. They're like $1.50 a piece. Not a big deal. But you can see how this is dressing out. Did have to yank up in the middle of the rafter a little bit. Well, like any other Sunday, I'm cooking on the smoker. Pork butt tonight. Hard work's over. That's a wrap. If you like these types of videos, give it a like. Make sure you subscribe. Please share with family and friends. And like I always say, I appreciate you spending time with the Home Pro Hero.